here, guys. We are now joined by Texas Tech head coach Grant McCasland, coming off of
fixing his hair.
I want to say it. Yeah, fixing his hair. Is that a pickleball court you got set up in the background over there? Grant, listen, I appreciate you being here. Please don't get thrown off the call in the first 5 minutes, all right?
Hey, if we're grading this podcast, I'll give you one when it's over with.
A D plus.
Yeah, the
I'll be
grades,
honest.
man.
Hey, I respect honesty, man. I can take it.
Well, honesty, Grant, is that we probably effed up, and we'll be honest about saying that, because you have done one heck of a job in your 2 seasons there, and last year 1, getting them the Red Raiders in the NCAA tournament. Year 2, man, what you've done is incredible, because I think early on I wasn't sure what to make out of your team, to be honest. You didn't have a lot of resume wins. Non-conference was just okay, and you've come out of the gates here and won 9 of 10 now, and you've done it with a collection of play. Like, it's power by numbers on this team. You're not deep, but your top 8, man, every single one of them brings something to the table. They embrace their roles and what they do, Grant. And offensively, listen, I'm not sure you've ever had this much fun as a head coach as you are right now offensively.
Well, in junior college one year, we played Chipola and Greg Heyer in the national championship game. We scored 90 points. That team averaged over 80. We had an NBA draft pick on that team. Starter at Purdue for paint. We've had some fun before. So when Rothstein was messing with me saying that this is amazing that Grant's teams have never had a good offense, it's like they averaged 80 points in Division II, 90 points, and we were actually efficient at North Texas. We didn't have a problem scoring. We just didn't play enough possessions to score. Right. We just slowed it down. But no, it's it is awesome, man. It's awesome to have a great staff. As you know, no one wins without a great staff. Nobody. And then we did construct this team offensively, and we hoped that we could get them to be a great defensive team. But we didn't construct it thinking, let's make this a great defensive roster. I mean, we got great shooting. JT Toppin, who's crazy talented. Fede, who's a lob threat. Darian Williams, who can do everything. And then the ultimate setup guy, and then the freshman wild card, which I think is one of the best freshmen in the country.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, Coach? Again, great job this year and the last couple of years. I just had a quick question and just wanted to ask you, with you guys riding this 7-game win streak here, can you talk a little bit just about your message in the locker room and sort of how you're handling, or what are you preaching to the guys right now, or even more so, what are you doing? What are you guys? How is practice for you guys? How are you doing things physically this time of year?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I was actually just on the phone with Ross Hodge talking about what are we going to do with our teams the next couple of days, because the Big 12's unique. 20 games, no buys. You're just going right to the next game. After we beat Houston, honestly, we watched film and we had the players do it with themselves. And Darian Williams and Chance McMillan were the ones in charge of it. And then we walked around the USA, the United Supermarkets Arena outside. It was 88 degrees in Lubbock, Texas. No wind, surprise. And we set out and we just talked about the game. And everybody kind of gave what was impactful to them, what will they remember about that game. And then we did that for 45 minutes, let everybody share, and then we buried the game. We said, this game doesn't matter to anybody in this locker room because it was one win, and now we got to figure out how do we beat Baylor, and that's all I care about, honestly. And so we try to do unique things like that this time of year just to refresh us. I mean, we sat outside for an hour, and it was beautiful. It's how do you keep them fresh? And then we said, we're going to do an optional lift after this. And then, everybody showed up. So it's just like the ownership that I think these guys have to have this time of year in order for your team to improve. But you still got to practice. And so we start practice with like full court pressing to get it cranked up. And we'll do like 4-on-4, keep it out of the paint, guarding. So that way we can get better in gaps, because that's where we've made the best improvement is our ability to guard the ball. And then we try to taper it from there. But no, it's unique this time of year to keep your guys engaged, and I think you always got to be trying to read your team.
Yeah, without giving away all of your secrets, Grant, I'm just curious. I give you a lot of credit for your ability to identify the pieces that will work in the offense that you run and the defense that you run out of the portal, right? Like JT was JT. Everyone knew that he was going to be good, but I don't know how many people thought, Elijah Hawkins is going to come in and be one of the better point guards in the Big 12 right away. Like Darian Williams got him from Nevada. He was a really good player, but he's definitely taken a step forward. Like you've hit on a lot of guys that were maybe a little bit more unheralded than some of the 5 stars, the layups, the obvious ones. How do you guys go about doing that? And then how do you get everyone to kind of buy in and connect right away? It's been a really impressive job with that.
Well, experience is a great teacher. So I've screwed up plenty of times. So that's the blessing of being a head coach when you're 26 and being able to make so many mistakes. And honestly, I mean, like, it's true. Like junior college and Division II is what prepared me for this opportunity. I mean, if I don't have those experiences of turning over rosters every year and knowing what I genuinely believe and I'm convicted about, not what other people think are good players that can help us win, just had enough failures, honestly, with rosters or players that I thought for whatever reason I could tell them what something that I didn't genuinely believe would happen and then try to make something, fabricate out of tricking guys. I just was done with that. And so I think part of it is let's go for production. I think that's a big part of this. Like, let's literally look at guys like Darian Williams. You can't say the dude was like one of the most efficient, productive players in college basketball as a true freshman. Mm-hmm. And like, just how do you find that one component? And then I think you got to do so much research to find out who people like to be on the team with. And I think that's the most underrated part. I mean, Tony Bennett says because of his dad, like, you got to know who to lose with, who you can lose with. I heard Kelvin Sampson say that the other day. And I just think, honestly, there's a real part to that. And then the other part is I just try to be as honest as I can in the process. And if it doesn't, we've had enough experience where guys have had the best numbers of their careers playing for. So we do have a back story to all this that we can show guys. But then I honestly do tell them the truth on what I think that they're not very good at and what I think we can help them with. And like Elijah Hawkins, it was him defensively. And then his ability to make better decisions over the course of the game. So, like, how do you put him in position to do that? And I honestly think he wanted to come here to win. And we've had guys that have told us on our roster, we can't bring this guy in, coach, because I don't think he wants to win. All he does is talk about himself, and that's what, like, Chance McMillan will tell us. And so I do think there's this ownership to winning that guys have to come in believing. And the moment they're just talking about their own individual stats, and I know it's obvious to people, but honestly, I just don't touch it. I think saying no to people is just as important as saying yes.
I love that about Chance. He's so much fun to watch, man. He hit a three. I don't know if you saw. He hit a three where he did the Steph Curry and shot it and turned around and started walking down court because he knew it was in. That I love that so much.
Yeah, if I'd have saw it, I'd been jumping his, but I didn't see it. But like, with Chance, honestly, because he wants to win so bad, like, I don't even care, man. I want him to play with that kind of heater in mind,